Previously on Lost.
Greetings, Ron Smalek here.
And Fellonius the Wizard, and we'll be back with our podcast about Previously on Lost.
We are cranking through these episodes. Today we're going to talk about Season 1, Episodes 15, 16, and 17, which are Homecoming, Outlaws, and In Translation. But first,
we start with the comments. We have some comments that I would like to show. In my case, it's from Granny's Got Game. She's also hooked up on those Eyes of Locke. But she also takes up some of the other stuff. It seems like she and I are on to this with the Sawyer-Kate thing, and they are warming up each other. That's good, because that's one of the major plots that I'm just trying to avoid seeing. But this is one very interesting thing she writes. What if the others are not primitive?
well, I just assumed they wouldn't be primitive if they know how to like take over a radio station and
Exactly. This
whisper.
is after episode 11. So we have seen that Daniel lady and stuff.
Yeah. Well, and clearly Ethan wasn't too primitive.
No, we have
think.
seen that. But that's Daniel's words. Danielle said that they were not really good people, and Saeed thought that. Well, I think he thought he heard the word primitive.
You know what? I may have missed that.
Yeah,
But that
me
actually
too.
makes sense if somebody... I actually don't remember hearing really any details about them, but if that is something I missed, that makes sense
Yeah.
to me.
And then also more things to this, because why haven't... There are several things. First of all, you don't survive a plane crash like this. You usually don't.
Okay.
That's one thing. But I'd look past that. That's nothing to do with it. But now that we know, and now that Saeed knows that there are other people on the island, why doesn't either of the parties try to contact each other in some way?
Well,
And then that led to me, if Saeed was so anxious to go around the island once, why haven't he restarted that one?
yeah, that's
Because
true.
now he also knows that there are other people to be found. And if there's anyone you should send out there, it is the soldier.
Well, he has the map too, but he's trying to figure out where they are on the map
Yeah.
before he uses the map to try and
That's
go to
good.
someplace.
Yeah, that's good. But that's not a good map. And then there was one more thing she says, like, Saeed must have had eagle eyes to see that little bit of cable. Now, he is a trained soldier. He is looking for something that doesn't belong in his eyesight. I think that's the reason why he can find it, the cable. But then, on the other hand, he didn't follow it, and then the cable has actually not been mentioned anymore.
Yeah.
No more.
I don't know. I mean, it seemed to me like it was sticking up out of the beach in view, but
Yeah.
that was the camera, I guess, not his.
Yeah, that's the truth.
I mean, if he didn't find it, there wouldn't be much else to the show.
That's true. That's true. Of course not. But if we are going to get some credit for it, and then there's actually one more thing. How many hunting knives does Locke have, and how did he get them on the plane in the first place? This is after 9/11.
Yeah, but they were checked inside of a suitcase that he found. So I think, remember he popped it open like in the first or second episode?
So it wasn't his.
Well, I think it was. Well, we haven't seen anything to believe it wasn't his.
But he can use them. He can very well use them.
Oh, yeah. And I think they're doing a good job of keeping control of like how many guns and who has possession.
Yeah, we're going to... Well, that's going to change. Oh dear, oh dear. And let me say this. I have now ahead of me one episode that is really, really lousy in my eyes, and then there's the best episode ever so far.
Oh,
Come.
I need to know which one that is, but we'll get into
No,
that.
we'll get to that. You can start by getting us some synopsis on the first one.
Well, let me give three quick shout outs to other commenters, and these are Fellonius was talking about folks who've commented on our YouTube channels, the version of these episodes. Quick shout out to Baker Bell, Basket MC, and Thungon for also posting intriguing comments. One thing, Boone, Thungon reminded me that Boone, the actor who plays Boone, actually is like one of the main characters in a show called The Vampire Diaries. So he did go on to something that became pretty popular.
Yes, and the Vampire Diaries has been aired in TV5 here in Sweden, but I don't look at vampires, zombies, or something like that. I don't.
No?
No, I don't. It's not my type of.
Okay. Well, we're not going to do a previously on Walking Dead then.
Nope. Well, might. Who knows? But it's going to be a very boring one.
Okay, so should we get into
yes,
okay,
yes.
15. So as I predicted, it's a Claire episode. It's called Homecoming. And here's the liner notes from my DVD collection. After many days, Claire is finally found. While walking in the jungle, Jin and Charlie are confronted by Ethan Rom, who gives an ultimatum. Bring Claire to him or one of the islanders will die each day. A trap is set up to catch Ethan using Claire as bait, but when Boone falls asleep on sentry duty, the results are tragic. So,
Yeah, that's the main thing.
yeah, I actually am surprised. I pretty much forgot what actually happens in this episode. I remember that Charlie's flashback existed,
Yep.
but I couldn't really remember like how she got back to camp or how any of this happened. So when I watched and I was surprised by the end of this episode even. That's how much I forgot what happened. So
Well, let me put it this way. I was really surprised. So that's the good part. I haven't been that surprised so far. And that's going to be on top of that later on, even eclipsed.
yeah, so this one is Charlie flashback, but the on island stuff sort of centers around Claire and how people are reacting to her coming back.
And the reason we are having flashbacks for Charlie is because it's going to explain why he does what he does.
See,
later on.
And I'm glad you said that because one of my first notes, in fact, the note I have under my least favorite moment is Charlie's flashback. What's the point?
Exactly. That's the boring part. That's why this episode is the worst so far.
Okay.
And it's not bad. It's just not up to par with the others so far. I didn't understand half of it, and I was actually thinking about putting forward winding it up double speed or sometimes.
Yeah, I do think so. Remember at the beginning of last episode,
Yep.
I said that I think Claire's eye was the person you see looking out of the jungle at Boone on the beach. I really do think it was her.
Okay.
Doesn't really have anything
eyes.
to do with this episode. But okay, what do you think? Did Claire escape, or was she sent back, or?
Judging by the marks on Ethan's face later on, she escaped.
Okay.
Because he had some new scars.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. They didn't really give us any evidence either way other than that, but I think it was kind of asked in the episode as well.
Yeah.
And obviously based on what happens at the end, Ethan's not going to be able to tell us.
No, he's not. And that was the big surprise, that episode, I must say. But we'll get to that. No, the reason Charlie is getting flashbacks because he is not trusted with a gun.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's the point. He is not trusted with a gun. He is the nicest friend to Claire. He's the one who is going to watch over her. He's actually he really, really aches to wanting to help, doing something, and they say, we can't trust you with a gun. That clicks into a memory he has when he wasn't trusted before. And he shouldn't be trusted before. And in the flashback, he's actually going to steal things from a person that he suddenly grows, well, he's having feelings for her.
Do you think he was having feelings for her, or did
Yes.
he just want to have a normal life kind of
No,
thing?
it was both. Now, I'm not saying that he loved her, because that's going to be grown in. But he also had all the time, he knew that he had to steal something because he had he had it coming, because it was no way he's going to earn that type of money he needed to deliver. So he knew that he wasn't trustworthy.
And so
suddenly he's on the island and he's getting that face just shoved up right up his face. You're not trustworthy. And they don't know him, actually, but he's not trustworthy enough to have a gun.
Or like, yeah, he failed to do the right thing for a woman.
Yes.
In the past. One quick note that I thought was pretty interesting is, did you happen to notice he took a job selling copiers for this woman's dad.
Yeah.
Did you happen to notice what kind of copier he was?
No, I did not.
Okay, I only brought it up because it rang clear as a bell when he said it. He's selling the Heatherton C815 model copier, and 815, as you know, is the plane number, as well as the safety deposit box, and as well as a lot of other things on this show.
You're still keeping that one.
Yes. One of my, one of my favorite things. The reason I got into this show was I heard that there was this mystery with these numbers and figuring out the code. So we haven't gotten there yet, but the numbers are appearing often.
Yep.
815, and he did a bad job of selling copiers, by the way.
Well, that wasn't a surprise. So.
No, but it was pretty funny, though. It was pretty funny.
Well, I was I was annoyed, so
yeah.
I didn't see the comedy in that one. Sorry.
I just when he turns around and he throws up into the copier because he's so withdrawal and all that.
Yeah.
It was anyway.
Have you been in that situation? So
no. Yeah. So I don't know. So Charlie. Well, let's just jump to the end because that's kind of the elephant in the room, right?
Yep. They are fighting like mad with Ethan, and somehow, is it Ethan's gun who's getting away somewhere, or is it Jack's?
Oh, they didn't make a big deal of it, but you're right, because the 4 guns got handed out, and then Kate had the 5th one. So whose gun did Charlie have?
Someone started to fight, and I will believe it was Jack who started to fight with Ethan, right?
Oh, and then Charlie picked it up.
Yeah, so I think it was Jack's gun, because...
Gotcha.
And that's important out of another aspect, because if Ethan doesn't bring a gun to a meeting like this, he's not suspecting anything of violence that he can't handle.
Yeah, it was weird, because so you have basically 4 people or 5 people crouched around in a circle in the jungle, all facing inward towards the bait with it. They made it look like maybe 20 yards apart.
Yeah.
And yet somehow Ethan just walks right past them all into the middle of the circle. I was like, what?
That made me suspect that he's actually trained soldier as well.
Yeah, and I kept thinking, like, okay, more than Ethan's going to show up here. Like, this isn't Ethan on his own. This is a group of people, but maybe there aren't a whole group of...
We don't know yet. Well, I don't know. You have seen it, so you might have a guess, but I haven't.
I have a guess.
I suspect that there are a group of people, of course. But how big a group of people? We don't know. Now, Ethan is smooth. Granny's Got Game said that little tiny... Yeah, I thought so when I saw Ethan first. He didn't look like he could carry more than 2 bamboo sticks at a time. Mm-hmm. So he's actually been putting on some weight and muscles since the first appearance. But he is a trained something.
Yeah, I had the same thought. Like I didn't think he was imposing at all. I thought he was a skinny, short guy.
Yeah,
And then when I was listening to a different podcast and they talked about how was Ethan big enough to carry Claire and Charlie at the same
yeah.
time, and then they started talking about Ethan and like I really looked at him this time. He is a big guy. Like that actor's pretty big.
Oh yes,
So
something has been CGI'd.
and unfortunately Ethan killed Scott. Not Steve, but Scott.
Well, doesn't matter. They can't keep Steve away from Scott anyway. So
Yeah, but now I don't know if there's going to be many more Steve and Scott jokes. That they killed it off.
yeah, they even tried to bury the joke. Now Charlie takes the gun, shoots 4 shots into the back of Ethan.
Yeah.
Now I'm a big fan of Charlie. You have understood that, but that was the best thing he has done so far. That was my favorite.
It was
moment.
fine. I actually I understand it,
Yeah.
but it was kind of dumb.
Yeah.
I mean, they kind of had him right
No.
under control. Like
No.
Jack finally beat him up. He was laying there. He was almost
Doesn't
knocked
matter.
out.
As soon he just shakes his head. I have seen Terminator. I've seen RoboCop. I know what they're going to do.
Yeah.
He's just going to get up and walk out of there.
Well,
if they
and-
just throw himself, if all 6 of them around him, he's going to shake them off and just walk away with Claire.
Yeah, but that doesn't happen this time.
Nope. Charlie makes sure that we didn't have. Well, actually, to be totally true, I've seen too many movies. I wasn't sure that Ethan was dead.
Yeah. But he
Because
is.
Charlie is actually not a good shooter. I haven't seen him with a gun, of course not. But he didn't look like he was just pulling the trigger. And hopefully he was aiming at somewhere around the heart or something like that. But he was just pumping in shots. And why only 4? A magazine of that kind is awfully 9. Why didn't he empty the magazine?
I don't know.
No, because he doesn't know how many bullets there is. He's not counting them. He's just shooting, and when he's done that, something in his arm, perhaps, well, he got tense or something. He just stopped because he thought that's enough. He
Yeah.
might have been thought. Now he's a character, so he shouldn't be assuming too much. But he maybe thought that he was putting 9 bullets into the man. I don't know, but it was only 4, and they mentioned it.
Because usually I would think, and I hadn't thought about this before, you bring up a good point. I would think he'd either shoot once and then be like, what have I done? Or he would unload the whole clip and keep firing after he's out of bullets.
Exactly. So now this is actually very strange. So I put a note on it.
Oh boy, wait. Okay, what is the note? You think Charlie has
I
prior...
can't read it
Charlie...
because I have to write. I think it says part of island. So that's my thing. Is it the island who's actually stopping Charlie?
Maybe he was shooting in Morse code.
Well, we know the numbers.
Just kidding. That's...
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, that's the thing. I have always, any action that's going on in one episode is always, I have to put the island in and see what happens. If the island is actually moving and doing stuff. Because if Ethan is part of the island, how come that the island is actually letting Charlie shoot him?
Well, is Ethan... I mean, why would we... Like, Rousseau's not part of the island, apparently. These guys aren't. Maybe people are just getting marooned there, but they're not part of... Nobody's part of the island, except Locke, maybe.
Locke is absolutely part of the island. We are getting back to him in my favorite episode in translation later on.
Yeah, we don't really know, like, what Ethan wanted Claire for or any of that stuff,
So in my case, I say Ethan, and if he has a gang, they are not part of the island. They're using this stuff. And perhaps there isn't UFO or anything. Perhaps they are aliens or whatever. I doubt that, really.
Well, I think
But
Basket MC is waiting for your reaction when the alien UFO shows up.
that's what he's writing, at least. So I'm thinking Ethan, but Ethan is dead. He's buried. Hopefully, he stays there.
Yeah, this is not exactly relevant to what you said, but it kind of borders on what you said. And it's my only other note for this episode is I'm really surprised we haven't heard or seen anything else about that monster since the beginning. For some reason I thought that all was revealed, like you see what it is
Yeah.
by now, and we still haven't seen anything else about that
Nope.
and seen it. So
Wild boar and that polar bear. That's what we have.
yeah, yeah.
That's it.
The
So that
yeah,
big thing.
it's like these people, these plane wreck people forgot about the others, forgot about the big monster. They're not paying attention to the things they need to be.
And the cable. I'm going to talk.
Yeah,
But the big
going
surprise is
around.
they. What my point was that if Ethan wasn't a part of the island, he's now part of the island.
Okay, okay.
He's buried in it.
So, did
Okay.
any other characters that were significant in this one?
Not in this one, right?
I don't think so.
Sawyer is actually making progress in this one because he has his own gun and he's shoving it back.
Yeah,
He's bringing it back, but he's doing it mostly because he's actually protecting himself.
yeah. I think he's mercenary, right? But now everyone knows it, and they can count on the fact that he's gonna help them in order to protect himself. Maybe.
Yep, and then the fact is that he now knows that he's not holding the only gun. Jack has 4, he's got 1. 4-1. In this case, if he brings in his weapon, then suddenly Jack has all 5, and Jack is the only one he's actually trusting Sawyer.
Yeah.
So that way, this is actually something against your weapon laws as well in states, because if no one has a weapon, there's no violence. That's one of the anti-NHR or whatever those shortenings are. So that's a little bit of a social thing they have put in. If no
Yeah.
one's got a weapon, then there's gonna be no killings.
Yeah, I think we can
Bit of a
see.
political thing.
There'll
Now,
always be violence.
do you have any more characters as well?
No, not in this one.
Well, it's a good episode, so to speak, because there's a low key on Jack and Kate.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I think I think we covered the main plots.
Yeah.
But speaking of what Sawyer has and doesn't have, the next episode 16 called
Yep.
Outlaws.
Yep.
I don't care for the name. I think the name of this episode is kind of boring compared to what happens in it. But
Yep.
anyway, so here's the synopsis. In the middle of the night, a wild boar steals the tarp that Sawyer has been using for his roof. Sawyer enlists Kate to help him track the boar down, but she takes advantage of his situation by asking for something in return. While Kate and Sawyer hunt down the animal, Charlie's strange behavior causes Hurley to suspect that he's suffering from PTSD,
Yeah.
which was it's a character moment, I guess. Okay, so the first episode you said was one of the worst ones. Is this the best one, or this is the middle one?
This is the middle one with
Okay.
a bit of funny comedy between very muddy Sawyer and a very laughable boar. Because I feel like that boar is actually laughing at him all the way through.
Oh, my favorite moment is whenever he says that the boar peed on his shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a surprise. I didn't see that coming, but it was. This is slapstick. This is Charlie Chaplin. This is and bringing Sawyer to do the slapstick is actually well, it's making it twice as fun. This is actually an episode that I could just watch over and over just for the fun of it.
Yeah, so this is definitely Sawyer's episode, Sawyer's flashback episode.
And this
Eh,
is the best one
well, this is the best one?
of his so far. We
Oh,
only
okay.
had that two.
I think so. Before watching it, I couldn't remember who this one was about. I didn't really have a guess.
Nope.
And I remember, so this one starts off with a flashback where he's a kid hiding under the bed,
Yep.
and his dad kills his mom and then kills himself.
Yep.
And I remember being on the edge of my seat when I saw that the first time.
Okay.
Yeah, that was very impactful because you see the point of view under the bed, the kid's looking out his door, and you see
Yep.
these cowboy boots walking towards
Yep.
the bed, and you think he's going to get found. And then the guy sits on the bed and kills himself. Oh, that was
Yeah, that is a bit intense, of
yeah,
course.
yeah. This time around, I felt like it was already explained in an earlier episode, but
Yep.
this time you got to see it.
And then we have the rest of the flashbacks is about modern time. We don't know. It was why he went to Australia, so it
Yeah.
wasn't that far ago.
Yeah.
And he is actually having a visit from a person that he doesn't like, and he wants to know why he shouldn't shoot him at sight. Now, that means that Sawyer doesn't trust this guy. I've forgotten his name.
Hibbs.
Hibbs.
Yeah.
It was a short English one, so yes.
But why doesn't Sawyer? So Sawyer basically Sawyer gets conned into going and shooting someone that owes this guy money.
Yeah.
Now, why doesn't Sawyer suspect he's being conned, or why doesn't he question it? Like,
Yeah.
that didn't. I feel like he's smarter than that.
No. That's exactly the point. He isn't smart. He is actually going with the flow and he's trying to use his instincts. He's not an intelligent person. He's not a Mensa person. He's the average guy who he has his things. Well, what he has learned the hard way.
Sure.
And it's very narrow. That knowledge is not wide, and he's not using his experience to make the right connections.
But he sets up these long cons and these intricate schemes and scams. Like, wouldn't he always be suspecting anything another criminal says to him?
He ought to. We
Yeah.
know that in retro. We know that because the guy that he was pointing out as the real Sawyer is not the real Sawyer. He's shooting an innocent man.
Yeah, that guy's just a reincarnated boar.
Yeah, it was really boring. So,
No,
So-
I don't want to get too hung up on that note because I think
no.
the parallel structure of the episode is good.
Yeah.
You know, Sawyer's getting revenge, or what he thinks is revenge, on this guy. He's actually being scammed, and at the same time, he's trying to get revenge on the boar, and he's being not scammed by Kate, but sort of Kate's trying to get influence with him through helping him.
Yeah, but their interactions are the same all the time, and I don't know why they haven't done it already.
Well, it's a TV show. That'd be too easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So who do you think Kate's more likely to be with first, Jack or Sawyer or someone else?
Well, anyone that lets her.
Oh, okay.
Might even be Charlie because he's stupid enough.
So
The thing is, inside our flashbacks, I want to get rid of the flashbacks first.
Okay.
The latter part, the last part even, Sawyer is sitting at a bar after he has murdered an innocent man.
Oh.
And at that bar, he meets a very, very special person.
Actually, no. So
Is it before?
he went to the shrimp truck, and he
Yep.
couldn't do it. He drove away.
That's what.
Then he
yes.
went to the bar and met Jack's dad. And Jack's
Yes.
dad actually convinces him to go back
And do the
and
thing.
shoot this guy.
I
Yeah.
mean, that I was so surprised you could have knocked me down with a feather. That
Yep.
was not. That was something that I couldn't.
Yeah.
And it gives me a feeling of I don't know.
Well, I kept thinking the whole time, okay, does Sawyer realize when he's on the island, does he realize the connection between Jack and his dad and like does he know, does he have information on Jack now? And at the end of this, you
Yes,
you see that he does realize it, but he didn't realize it up to that point.
strangely enough.
Yeah, it was. I thought that was a really nice way. That's why I say I love the flashbacks when they tie people together.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
and actually, that was I recognized the actor immediately as Jack's father.
yeah,
So to me, that was so good.
yeah,
Oh dear.
yeah. I mean, other than that, I think I made a note that Kate. We confirmed that she's been married before during her
Yes.
little game with Sawyer, but I
Yes.
I couldn't tell if any of the other information was that useful that we got.
Really? No.
And Sawyer's been hearing the whispers. I think that's also interesting.
Yes.
So,
And we see Shannon and Saeed together now and then.
yep.
That's all that I can remember. But I can't remember more from that episode of.
I
Yeah.
I thought there was a sort of interesting thing. It may be useful later. I don't remember, but Locke is talking to Sawyer and Kate in the woods, and
Yeah.
Locke is actually trying to, like, I think Locke has some suspicion of what that Sawyer's trying to get revenge on the boar,
Mm.
symbolizing something in his life. And he tells this little story that I completely thought was gibberish the first time I watched it, but now I'm suspecting, because it was so specific. He said that his mother had passed away,
Oh, yes.
and his sister, but 5 years before she passed away, they found this dog, and that he thought
Yeah.
his mom thought the dog was a reincarnation of his sister,
Oh,
and she was
yes.
sorry for the accident. So I
Yeah.
was like, oh, accident. Does that have something to do with Locke's legs or something like that?
Yeah.
Now I don't know if it, honestly, I don't know. But I
It
just,
really didn't fit in with the Sawyer incident.
no, well, it kind of did, because Locke was implying that the boar is like the reincarnation of someone else in in Sawyer's past, coming back with a message.
Yeah.
But it's hard to get it, and that's why I'm wondering if something will come back with that later. So I'm filing that one away.
Yeah. We have
Yeah,
a lot of those
yeah.
filing away
Now
still.
I have two minor notes. And I was pretty proud of myself for noticing these two
Oh.
things. One of them is a blooper. When the boar is attacking Sawyer,
Yeah.
if you look in the upper right of the screen, and I'll probably put a screenshot in my video, you can see fencing around the barnyard where it got filmed.
Oh.
And I totally didn't notice this. I didn't read this on the wiki or anything. I just noticed it myself this time around.
Good work.
And I was like, oh, that's a continuity error. And then the other thing I noticed, when Locke first comes into the clearing, he's eating some yellow fruit.
That's true.
It's actually a star fruit, which is pretty much my favorite kind of fruit.
Oh.
It's waxy, and it's kind of sweet and bitter at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's like, most people have never realized they've seen a star fruit, but he's eating a star fruit. I just thought that was a nice thing that I
Well,
noticed.
he's the star of the show, so why not? I say, why not?
And then the only other thing I have noted, but you probably maybe have some more things, is that they are starting now to build this raft.
Yes, and that's rather cool because that raft was going to be bigger than I thought.
Yeah. Oh, I
And how can you use those iron beams and stuff. There's a lot of things that I really don't understand. And there was some exchange with Sawyer in order to get. Sawyer is actually going to get on the raft
Yeah.
together with two more, and we don't get the names.
Well,
Well,
I think
Walt is one.
yeah. So I think it's Michael, Walt, and Sawyer, and then he said there's room for four, and there's a fourth person who.
Yeah.
But now I can't. I think we're starting. I can't remember if we're starting to bleed into the next episode though,
Well,
or
yeah,
not.
we.
Yeah. So
Yes,
any other character stuff from this one with
actually,
Sawyer's?
I still got a lot of notes on Jean. Jean, suspecting son of talking English. I have made that several connections, both in the Homecoming and the Outlaw. No, in the Outlaw, Jean isn't there, by the way. No, but that is also coming back in the last
Yep.
in translation.
Yep.
And I'm still saying that Jean knows English.
Okay.
Not
Good.
he cannot speak it, but he knows it.
That's going to be my question in about 2 minutes.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Let's get over to the best episode ever.
Okay, first I'll just be right up front. I don't think it's the best episode ever. I think it's good, but it was. I don't actually. I think this is the middle one. I like the Sawyer one a little better. So I'll read it. This is in translation. A mysterious arsonist destroys Michael's raft, and everyone's suspicions turn to Jin, whose inability to defend himself prompts him to flee into the jungle. As the castaways hunt Jin down, Sun must decide the best way to protect her husband, even as she suspects that he may be guilty. Now, I think this summary is a slightly misleading, but
Yes.
why don't you go ahead and start? So does Jin? Okay, by the end of this episode, you think Jin knows English?
He's been working as a waiter and stuff at a hotel. He's been hearing English. I'm not saying that he understands it perfectly, but he understands more than he's letting go of. But he can't speak the language, and that's a very important thing because all over the place he's hearing stuff, and why would he run if he doesn't know that they are suspecting him? It's not enough just to stand and point at a person and say just saying gibberish. If you're suspecting that you are going to be haunted for it, you don't run. You just run. And he knows that he's suspected, so that's why he's running. That's the first one. And he's also hearing stuff from his wife, and they are sitting inside tents, and they don't see what's outside the tent, and they are speaking English, Kate and her son in one case. And Jean can just stand outside the tent and listen. So there are several things and he understands his wife perfectly when she tells him in English that he was going to leave him. That made him stop.
I don't think he honestly. So I tried watching this with your mindset of
Yep.
does he know? I don't think he does. In fact, at near the end, whenever Sawyer's dragging Jin to the beach and everyone's standing around arguing, right before he gets in the fight with Michael,
Yep.
Jin hears them speaking and arguing with each other, and the show did a really cool thing. The show actually had all those people talking in Korean. I don't know if you noticed that. So Jin,
No.
so our audience is from Jin's perspective. He can't understand what they're saying, and we hear them speaking in Korean instead of in English, simulating that we can't understand what they're saying because he can't either.
Okay. So
Yeah.
that's well, I didn't see it that way.
Yeah, yeah, and like he, yeah, I think his facial expressions might be harder to see, just the sort of way he holds himself. But
Yep.
like if you look at his eyes, he's trying to figure out what they're meaning by their body language and their tone, but I don't think he knows English.
Well, we'll never know because he's
We-
probably gone by
And,
now.
and at the end, he does say one word in English. He says boat.
Well, that's the easy word
Yeah.
because he's a fisherman's son.
They've been all saying raft, but I don't think I don't think he
Oh,
understands. And his reaction to Sun, because she is speaking in English and he's hearing the tone, but then she does speak to Korean,
again, yes.
and that's what he responds to. So I think,
Yes, because he doesn't repeat. She doesn't repeat what she said in English in Korean.
but he's just mad that his wife's been keeping this from him.
Yes.
He's jealous or something of Michael. I mean,
Yes.
it doesn't really matter what she says.
No, no,
He
that's
he
true.
says it's too late. Like his
His
honor
trust.
has been
Yes,
besmirched.
and his trust. Well, you can take that's the white man saying, but his trust and his love has been totally diminished
Sure.
because she's not trustworthy. And that's has nothing to do with honor. It's about love that fading away, and he knows that if he doesn't walk now, he would probably do some stupid things because he's a proud man somewhere deep inside.
Well,
And
the interesting thing that we saw in this episode is when he goes and he does find his dad on the fishing boat.
absolutely.
His dad is the one. So his dad convinces him to go to Sydney and L.A., do this
Yeah.
last job, and then walk away. Go to America and de facto walk away and start over and have a new life. A clean slate is basically almost exactly what his dad tells him to
Yes,
do.
but have a clean slate with your wife.
And that,
Marriage.
so of all the people that got on that plane, I think Jin is one of the only people intending to come to a clean slate.
Yeah.
Everyone else was just in the midst of their lives and now has a clean slate forced on them.
Yes.
So I thought that was kind of cool.
And we finally see this Jin side of the actions that led up to the moment when they're standing in the queue for the airplane.
Yes, I love the fact that he didn't actually buy Son a dog. He
Nope.
was given the dog by a guy he was going to intimidate.
Yes, it was going to kill him, actually, if we are going to be totally frank. But, yeah, he got the dog. So, well, what should he do with it? He just has to give it away, and I think he's doing the right thing.
Yeah,
But
I'll
he's
take
not that violent. He hasn't killed anyone.
at that point, and then when he does so, he knows that this guy's going to get killed, so he beats him up in order to save him,
Yep.
which is a nice twist, I thought.
I really like that. That was yet another surprise. There was full of surprises in this one.
Yeah.
Totally. Up to everyone was giving me surprises in this one,
Yeah, yeah.
including Hurley. Now that's Jin's side of things, but if we're now watching Sun's side of things, he's coming in. There's blood all over his white shirt and all that stuff. I mean, I could easily see why Sun is actually suspecting him of, well, doing something really bad.
Yeah.
So, as I said then, we should really see Jin's side before we judge him. But he hasn't killed anyone. And I mean, even Kate hasn't killed anyone that we know of. She's telling us that she has, but we haven't seen it.
Correct. I don't think so.
And I didn't think that Charlie had it in him to kill anyone. But I really, really suspected Jin of it. And here's the problem. When I see Michael and Jin at the beach, now you're not going to like this because I'm going to get political again. I saw a little tiny version of the Vietnam War.
Okay.
This is how white man, calling it white man is rather fun because it's Michael, but it's the Western.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yes, it's the Western civilization against the Asian civilization. Here we have Jin. Of course, he's the only one except Sayid who is not from the Western civilization. So, of course, we have to suspect him. Yes. So we start to beat him. Why? Because we don't know any other way to do it in the Western civilization. And Jin doesn't even defend himself.
Yeah.
And if we're not going to be, I'm not going to be saying that the Vietnamese people didn't defend themselves, they did. But again, we are getting this Western civilization trying to use their little tiny brains to just get revenge. And
Yeah.
the reason Michael is actually beating Jin is because he thought that Jin has um, put the raft on fire because he wanted to revenge anything. He's
Right.
taking it personal. That's the one of the problems we being in the Western civilization. Everything is down to personal. It's ego. And it's not that big thing, social thing. It's just ego. And they're showing it really, really good. And then Locke comes.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say I don't know that the showrunners intentionally drew those parallels, but I can totally see what you're saying, the politics of it. But I also feel like that's just human nature of when you have a group of people and this one person stands out, it's either going to go one of two ways. Either they're going to try to fit in and
Yeah.
learn common ground, or they're going to keep going further apart in suspicion until
Yeah.
some miscommunication, something lost in translation will bring it to a
That's the
boiling
name of
point.
the episode, which makes it very fun. And
Yeah.
we should also remember that Sawyer is actually the one that's taking care of Jin, finding him, tying him up,
Yeah, I
and he
wasn't.
also mentions Lord of the Flies.
Yeah. Now, and the interesting thing I thought too is who talks sense into everybody and sort of finally breaks it all up.
The island.
Well, Locke. Locke steps in and is like, look, you guys are all infighting. We need to be worried about them. And
Exactly. And
maybe
and the
they.
Locke's logic is actually really easy. Why would any one of those 40
Right.
plus people want to destroy the only means to get off the island? Why?
Well,
There's no reason except for Michael's revenge thingy or whatever. That has nothing to do with it. I mean, even Jin wants to get off the island.
yeah.
Or wanted at least before that incident.
Yeah, and this is where it comes to I think the reason I don't care for this one as much overall, actually one of the two reasons this episode is when you find out it was actually Walt that set it on fire. I
Well, that you could have really knocked me down with a feather on that one. I did not see that.
yeah, I feel like I really feel like this whole raft thing was drawn out over more episodes when I first saw it. And
So,
like Walt
three.
has never given any indication that he wanted to stay or that he liked it there. I mean, really, it was completely out of the blue, and Locke solves it like Sherlock Holmes with no clues at all. And that's where I was like, that's why I don't like Sherlock Holmes, because he solves stuff without clues that the audience gets to see. You only get to see the clues after he solves it. That
Yeah, but
I
that's
don't like
scientific.
that.
No, I understand that. I understand that. You just have to buy the things that has done that. And
Yeah.
we are now. For me, it's the obvious because it is the other way around. Because now they have to prove somehow that Walt is really wanted to stay on the island because he's
Yeah.
the only kid. He's 10 years old and he's rather stupid.
He doesn't do anything but throw the ball for the dog all day long.
Or
And play
win
back.
backgammon, yeah,
Oh.
wins at backgammon. And he's actually counting on his luck to play backgammon.
Yeah, actually, sorry, I'll touch on that. So he specifically says that now, in the past episode, Hurley owed him 20,000. Now he owes him 83,000.
Yep. Are you going to keep track of
I
that?
I am. It's a number. Anytime someone says a number, I'm going to keep track of it. Which also reminded me when Jin busted into the house of the secretary
Yep.
in Korea. Did you happen to see what the daughter was watching on TV?
No, I did not.
Okay. I'm trying to decide if I should tell you what it was, or if you should just go back to that scene and just look at the TV, or do it after the next episode.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Your tip is that I should rewatch that scene before I watch the next episode.
So yeah, the part where Jin goes in and the daughter's
Yep.
watching TV. Just look at what's on the TV.
Okay, I'll do it.
Okay.
First, the second. This was the second time, right?
I think it was the first time.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it was the first time whenever he got the dog.
Okay, that's the first time.
Yep. Yeah, it you'll find out in the next episode, but I remember seeing it and being like, "What?" So,
Well, I suppose it's not Lost and it's not Hawaii Five-0. So.
so okay. What else about in translation?
Well, there is one very major quote.
Oh,
Oh, yes, and it's Locke. Of course it's Locke. And this is about Shannon, I suppose. Boone and Shannon are not really talking to each other anymore. And Shannon is actually trying to hook up with Saeed. And Boone tells Saeed about Shannon's usual stuff, what she usually do. And Shannon gets upset over that. You shouldn't be listening to her brother. And then she goes to her brother and tells him off. And then Locke comes and really clears it up, I say. Everyone gets a new life on the island. A major quote that is said twice. And then Locke also tells Shannon that she's actually giving Boone what he wants.
yeah. He kind of downgrades Boone.
Yeah.
I mean, again, this is Locke manipulating people, telling them, encouraging them.
Yes.
This is where I think, when I saw him in that last episode on the beach stepping up, I thought, this is what he's been waiting for. Now he's going to start making his moves to take over leadership from Jack. Jack and Sawyer, they're going to be distracted by Kate. Locke's going to step in. That's my...
Nope, that's not going to happen.
No? Why?
Because Locke is not that type of people. He's a person who is going to make sure. Well, they can build 6,000 rafts. He's not going to be one of them, so he's going on them. So that's one point. He is going to stay on this island forever.
Yeah.
And he doesn't really. Locke himself doesn't care if anyone else does it. And I don't think he wants Waltz to stay either, but he doesn't care.
Well, let's go back to something you said in the prior episode of our show. You said that Walt is so special that the island doesn't want to mess with him, but it will do it through Locke.
Yep.
So Locke knows that Walt did it. Do you think... Does that statement still hold? Does any of this stuff change?
But that doesn't mean that Walt knows that he's that special for the island, to the island.
Okay.
So Walt is actually being 10 years old and stupid, playing backgammon and playing with the dog. And he thinks that's life.
So do you think that Shannon is special?
Well, she's not dead yet.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Shannon is one of my least favorite characters.
Yeah, but actually she's listening to Locke.
Yeah.
And that's very strange because she doesn't like Locke.
Well,
Not really.
She has three things going for her at this point.
Yeah.
She knows some French, which helped them all out. Maybe. I don't know if it helped them yet, but sort of helped Saeed at least know that he has a French puzzle.
Yes, and that's the French.
She's making Saeed happy. He seems to be honestly falling for her.
Oh dear.
And apparently she knows how to tie really good knots.
Yeah, that's important. Always look for a wife that can tie knots. because then you're not going to get outside your apartment ever. No, 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 no. She's not getting anywhere. But she's actually thinking about cleaning her slate as well. It's tabula rasa all over again. And the island is actually providing this. But she still wants to get off the island.
Yeah, I think for her it's very simple. In the past, she's always gone for these guys she could use.
Yeah.
Here's her chance to go for someone she truly likes.
Yep.
I I don't know.
It's a bit of a problem, though, because he's not totally American, is he?
Well, I don't think that's a problem at all.
Not for us that's watching, no. But for her, it might be because that means that all her old friends, if she has any, we don't know that. We should see something from Shannon's view as well.
I guess I just assumed because it sounded like she's had these lovers all over the globe that
Yeah.
she's open to whatever, exotic men. But this made me think, and I think this is not true, but for a split second it made me think: is the island using her to distract Saeed from going where he needs to go
Ah,
and doing what
that's
he
a
needs to do?
very good point.
So that
Because she's not going to follow him around looking for stuff. I doubt that.
so this is really a stretch, but Boone saw her die, right? And
Yep.
then she's just in camp as if nothing ever happened. What if she really did die and this is
No, 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 no.
a zombie Shannon sent to distract Saeed? No?
No way, no way. It
You
doesn't work like that.
you don't think anyone's coming back to life and
You mean I will never see her die?
I don't know. Anyway,
The fun fact is that the only two people that I wish were dead has actually died once, both of them, and they're still alive.
hold on. Charlie and who?
And Shannon. I've seen both those characters die, and they're still alive, and that's. Well,
What?
I don't like Shannon, and I don't like Charlie.
Wait. I remember when Charlie died.
He was hanging from a tree.
Yeah, that I remember. And he came back. That was an awesome moment. But when?
Shannon was lying in the stream with her head cracked.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was thinking you meant in the actual show.
No, that
I mean,
they
like, yeah. Okay, so anyway, so I keep going off on weird tangents. I did really like the way that they ended the episode. And I've been waiting for this to happen for at least 10 episodes. The music is playing, sort of a
Yes.
modern song. There's people sort of silhouetted against the beautiful island, and
Yeah.
relationships are forming. And then Hurley's batteries die on his Discman, and you realize he's actually been listening to that music
Yes.
in the show itself, and his batteries finally wore out. I love that moment.
And I wrote, for once, I just wrote down Hurley's batteries, question marks. And then well, could it be 15, 20 seconds after I wrote that one down, they died.
Yeah, I've been waiting for that to happen for a
Yeah,
long time.
That was cool. But you said actually something there. We are seeing people adjusting to the island. They are actually trying to, well, they are just sitting down on the beach, just laid back. They are enjoying themselves. Should we say that?
Yeah, Charlie's learned how to crack open coconuts.
Yes.
Obviously, they're not that hard up for boar meat anymore because they just let the boar go.
And we see Claire in a dug out hole in the beach, so she's actually having some rest for her back, and the feet are up high, just as you should have when you are having a baby, and people are just going about their business. But there is one scene that I didn't like. That's the least favorite part of this, and it's not very low, but it was seeing Sun in her bikini after Jin has went away, and she is smiling.
I
Don't like that.
I get what I think what they're trying to say is like, she's going to do what she wants and forget she's not going to hide herself or be demure, some of those things that are cultural differences. But no, I can't. I mean, I can't say I didn't have any issue with the scene, but I hear what you're saying. It was
It's
too over the top.
too soon afterwards. She's
Yeah.
telling her husband that she wants a clean slate. She wants to start over with him. She's begging. She's doing all that stuff.
Yeah.
And suddenly she stands there like, I'm free.
Yeah, cuz she
What?
was yeah, you're right, cuz she was trying to get free, then she took it back and he's free and she was crying and that yeah. You're right. She snapped back too quickly.
It's okay with the bikini. I can buy that. But what the heck about the smile? I don't like that at all because that shows us that she was never intending to be free together with him. She was just being wanted to be free. And somehow, okay, I can suspect the island on this one as well if I want to, but I don't.
I,
There is something wrong. And then I must say now, before anyone else is going to yell at me, I have very hard time reading Asian people's faces.
yeah.
And I don't think it's nothing to do with them as people, but it's something that I haven't been taught. I
Yeah,
have been
no.
I don't know. Perhaps you meet more of Asian people than I do, but I have very hard time doing it.
Yeah, I think similar to you, without trying to sound racist or anything,
Exactly.
the structure and the angles are hard. They don't, to me, they don't move as much. But if you watch, the eyes are very
Yeah.
alive.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But we
The
saw her
face,
in the
yeah,
profile,
sure,
and I think I saw her mouth smile. I think I saw. Perhaps I was wrong.
no. I totally saw her standing there as like I'm free, I'm happy now,
Yeah.
and I didn't even think about the fact that a second before that she was miserable.
Yeah.
You're totally right. That actually kind of counters what we gained
It,
through the episode.
Yeah, exactly. The whole episode falls about totally apart with that smile. So that was my least favorite moment. And still, it's about showing. Well, perhaps she was just feeling the wind in her hair or something. I don't know what she was enjoying, but I get the impression that what she was enjoying to be free, and that I didn't like.
Well, maybe Jin killed her in the caves, and the island is now impersonating her too.
Yeah,
And
might be.
I'm gonna start my own theory of everyone on the island except for like three people are actually just ghosts or something.
We have a lot of more.
Yeah.
Let's see. Well, should we? There's one more thing about that last scene.
Okay.
I got a feeling, especially with Claire, and there was one more sitting in the sun. I'm not totally sure what you call him, the character in Disney's Robin Hood, the snake. But do you remember the scene when the snake is actually trying to lay down in his cradle? I think it's the cradle he has.
Was the snake?
Sir his or something like that?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Was he wasn't the sheriff of Nottingham,
Nope.
and he
He
wasn't the
was
king,
no, he was King's
like Jester or something.
might be. He was
King's
he's
advisor.
yes, he's
Okay.
lying in the end of the bed of the
Yeah.
king.
Okay. Yeah.
When he's trying to make himself comfortable, do you remember that? When he's
Yeah.
snake body. I got that feeling from everyone on the beach in Lost because everyone seems to be snug and warm and I got that feeling. And I was actually smiling and then suddenly Sun stood there in her bikini and damn he was ruining the whole thing. Okay. Now Locke is actually pointing out something, and that's what I wanted to talk about Granny Scott game. The others. Why would they stop people from leaving the island? them?
Well, so I don't know the answer, but let's think about they are there. They take
Absolutely.
control of things. They've taken the radio station from
Danielle,
Danielle.
yes.
They now somebody now these people on this beach just killed one of their guys that was
Yeah.
trying to. I guess I still don't know the motivation for why they're trying to get Claire. Maybe he was
No.
on his own, but
But you see what
yeah,
I see up to this point, because you have seen the rest of the show, so you
well,
know you know some answers, I suppose. But
no,
if
I'm approaching this as if I've never seen the show.
you have never seen the show,
Just
oh,
kidding.
that's good.
So, well, let's think about
Let's
this.
review what we have up to this point, because
Yeah.
Locke is actually just pointing his finger at them, and he has never done that before.
That is true.
Has never. He doesn't need to. He has been hunting them, and while he was hunting them, they found that hatch. And that hatch is suddenly gone out of the blue. We don't do that anymore. I don't know why.
He, I mean, that's obviously evidence that there was some other civilization here.
Yes. But this time he's just pointing his finger at them and saying they are responsible for this. They. And then we suddenly realize that Locke knows who really did it. Locke is the only one who knows who burned the raft.
Yeah, I'm not sure when he figures it out, by the way.
He must have seen it.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
I think my gut says that if I went back and watched it, and I tried to watch for it and I didn't see it, that some of the things he says on the beach to the group,
Yeah.
he's purposely watching the rest of them for who reacts to it.
Yeah.
And he must have seen a reaction and guessed and then put it to Walt as a question. I don't think he was sure until Walt confirmed it, though. I think he was
Yeah,
manipulating
yeah.
again.
You might actually be totally true about that, but he is pointing his finger to them, who
Yeah.
he knows has his hatch, has Ethan, has a lot of stuff. He doesn't know that, and still, I say he knows more about the island than most. He's been to more places on the island than most of them.
Yeah, that is probably true. He seems to have gone the furthest and
So what he has really seen, we don't know.
well, we also have seen or we've heard these whispers at certain times.
Yeah, that's the wind.
I don't know, it sounds like when the boar was attacking Sawyer's
Yeah.
stuff, they said something like he's going to circle back or
Every time you mention Boar and Sawyer, it's going to be a laugh.
well, maybe the boar, like the others control the boars and the bears and send these creatures after the people, and maybe Locke figured out that it's all like smoke and mirrors or something.
Yeah, might be. We'll see a lot of other stuff from the others later on. But if we are going to, as Granny's saying, if we are going to make sure that they are primitive, that they are evil all the time, because everyone is actually acting upon what they want to do and need to do. That doesn't mean that they're automatically evil, even if they're opposing you.
I mean, it could just. I mean, they've obviously been there at least 15, more than 15 years, because I think,
16, yes.
yeah, that's when Danielle got there. So I would. I hope we don't find out that they are primitive, like cavemen primitive, or but
Building that
like.
hatch? No.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
But primitive means also eager to punish people, or don't have any laws, have no civilized manners. There's a lot of stuff going on. Because if you're looking at what happened after Locke is telling them that it might be them doing the stuff, is anyone even trying to excuse themselves or tell Jin that they are sorry? No, they just walk away. They are the primitive ones.
Yeah, the other thing that we heard, and I think we kind of forgot about this. So Rousseau's signal that's repeating is actually being blocked by another signal.
Yep.
There's like a jamming signal, so they obviously can't be super primitive.
Nope.
There's got to be some.
But are they really evil? I think that's what Granny is actually pointing at. Is it evil behind all this? We really don't know that. It can be
Oh,
scientific. We
we
don't.
don't.
We
Yeah,
can,
we don't know anything. I mean,
up to this point. But still, there's no contact between them except for that Ethan Clare thing. That's evil. In my book, it's evil.
there's no contact that we know of, right?
So I'm not,
Nothing.
well, we'll see. I'm not going to put, it might be 3 groups. There might be 4 groups. There might even be Frenchmen, more French people there. There might be even Swedes. Who knows? We'll see. There's 6 seasons, so anything. And there might even be a submarine somewhere. Who knows? I mean, it's not that impossible because I know Prof. Snape actually built one in his lost map.
Well,
I suddenly realized that in this week that was passing. Wait a minute, didn't I see a submarine in that lost Minecraft map? And I think I did. So we are not really sure, but making them, well, not primitive, but evil. Is there actually evil going on the island? And still, you're not supposed to be surviving that type of crash. So anything can happen.
I think we. I would. I was about to say I don't think we've seen anything evil, but we saw. We think Ethan killed somebody just because he couldn't. They wouldn't give Claire back. He came out of the water, killed somebody, Steve or Scott. I forgot which one.
It was Scott, but who cares?
To me, that's evil. The pilot was killed very violently when
By
they
the
could have maybe
monsters,
saved
yes.
him.
Yep.
I mean, the fact that Claire was taken, like, I think it's evil, but something tells me we don't know the whole story, like you said.
No, not up to this point.
I'm thinking back in the last episodes. Jack is seeing things, but there's not really any good or evil to it right now.
No. And it's also personal related. And we should also remember we are now at the episodes. Where are we?
Well,
18?
we're about to
17?
start 18 next week.
And they are, the people behind the TV show are not sure that they are going to continue the series. I suppose they haven't been told that they are going to do a season 2.
It's a good question. I don't know when they got confirmation. Well, I like to think that those things don't matter. However,
It does.
it definitely does. And I can tell you in season either 2 or 3, there was a writer strike.
Yep, I think
And
it's right, season 3.
that hurt, but also ultimately saved the show.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that in a future season. But I think up till now, so they've been seeding a lot of mysteries, but they've been clarifying people's backstories. And at this point, we've pretty much seen everybody's flashbacks, right?
Except Hurley.
Okay, that's true.
Ooh, Hurley has a fishing moment.
He did
That's
he
Nugget.
did he bring yep, Nuggets Nugget likes fish. Did Hurley bring a fishing pole to Jin? I
Yep.
think he did. Okay.
And he was standing there. Well, that's your problem. And it's so typical Hurley. It's so typical of him trying to be nice and then black and white. Okay, you don't say yes, then you mean no. Absolutely. The fact that Jin doesn't even know what he's talking about, that doesn't come to Hurley's mind because it's always yes or no.
Yeah.
Always yes or no. And when the batteries die, crap.
Yeah.
It's black. It's not that. And how come he's actually keeping his batteries? Because Saeed was actually trying to get every battery on the plane when he was trying to do the radio thingy, when they were triangulating and stuff. He needed every battery that he could get hold of, but not his Walkman or Discman or whatever it was.
That's a good point. I think that was just a miss in the writing. I think.
Or it's if those batteries are the old 9 volts or something, they're useless because they're not giving enough cream anyway. So
Yeah, but I think if Hurley thought they were trying to get a signal, he would have given him up. I think it was just
Yes, just
a
it
miss.
was
Yeah,
a miss. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So
So, do we want to talk about the next three, or do you have more observations?
I think I have nothing more on my papers, and I have nothing more in my memory, and I want to see more.
Yeah, so let's watch three more. We're gonna watch 18, which is called Numbers. And by the way, I'm very much looking forward to that one. We have 19, which is Deus Ex Machina.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure I'm looking forward to it, but I can't remember what happens in it. And we have episode 20, which is Do No Harm. I have no clue what happens in that one.
Exactly. And then we should always tell our audience that we are going to do 3 this time, and then we are going to do 2
Yeah.
in
And
the
then the
episode.
finale.
And then the finale is Exodus. And in my case, it's actually 3 episodes. And in your case, it's only 2.
Yeah.
But the last one is a 2-hour long show or whatever it was. So that's why it's 3 episodes for me.
Yep.
So you're doing 3 episodes, and then 2, and then 3 again.
Yep.
And that's the end of that season, man.
Yep. And we would love to hear your thoughts on what's happening in the show, or your thoughts on how we're discussing it. If you're enjoying
Anything.
Yeah, you can go to Fellonius's YouTube channel and leave in the comments, and we'll talk about them.
Or Hispanics. It doesn't matter. Well, I'm reading both, so.
Yes. Yep.
And we often comment both.
It's funny because right before we start recording, I suddenly see you go and reply to all the comments on your channel. I go, okay, he's awake now. He's going to contact me in a few minutes on Skype.
Yep.
Well, I have Vincent's long lost relative barking for me to come and
Yes.
play fetch or something.
Probably.
So I will catch up to you next week.
Yes. Thanks for listening, all our audience.
Bye bye.
Bye.